Bournemouth players in their change colours. It's like an aqua green, I would say. They're ready. They're just broken from a huddle against Manchester United in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks. And Bournemouth have it all to do on current form, Stephen Warnock.
They certainly do. We were watching the warm-up of the players, and I was just arriving to the ground as they were getting off the team bus, and heads were down. They looked defeated already before even stepping off the bus or stepping into the changing rooms. And I fear for Bournemouth today, they're going to need something special. The two up front is going to be difficult against an informed Manchester United side. You would have thought they would have packed the midfield out.
Mike Dean is the referee, and as he blows his whistle, we see the familiar sight of everybody taking the knee just for a few seconds to support the Black Lives Movement. And then there is the other whistle there from Mike Dean as the game will be underway. And there it is. Bournemouth then get this match underway. BBC Radio 5 Live. Already you'll have heard now that the added effects, if you want it without the added effects, you can go to the BBC Sport website or indeed the BBC Sport app, because on Sports Extra we've got Leicester City against Crystal Palace. So Bournemouth are playing from right to left. Manchester United therefore are defending the Stretford end as we look here in the main stand, and David De Gea will take a goal kick. But for Bournemouth, well, only the 10th season in the 121-year history that they've played higher than the third tier of English football, and it would appear that maybe, unless they can pull something out of the hat, they might well be dropping into the second tier of English football, because they've got it all to do to survive in the Premier League. Norwich have already been beaten. They've lost at home to Brighton and Hove Albion, so Norwich remain bottom, still 7 points adrift of Watford, but with only 5 games left to play. Bournemouth, of course, are ahead of them, but in the bottom 3, and they need to get something here at Old Trafford, but very, very difficult against a resurgent Manchester United side that is pushing hard for a place in the top 4 for next season. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in. We've got reporters at every game in the Championship. Earlier, Derby 1, Nottingham Forest 1 was a result in that early kick-off in that Derby encounter, as Maguire comes forward for Manchester United, and he's checked by Smith, and it'll be a free kick for Manchester United. First goal is going to be crucial, isn't it? Because we talked before about Bournemouth having a lack of confidence. If they were to concede early, as Bruno Fernandes spreads it out to Wan-Bissaka, who volleys it out of play and behind for a goal kick, then that really would set them back in terms of the confidence to concede here, Bournemouth. Yeah,
the biggest thing for Bournemouth is to try and get through the first half an hour without conceding. If they can pinch a goal along the way, great, but what they need to do is stay in the game as long as possible, because you fear that if they go a goal down, it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the concern. You'll see heads drop as they did against Newcastle. They started blaming each other. They're all looking around the pitch, so it's imperative that they get off to a good start and a positive one. They've tried to press Man United early. United have just found it far too easy to get out.
Manchester United coming forward. Greenwood on this right hand side. Greenwood lays it in field to Pogba, stubs it out wide. Shaw will collect it on that far side, the left. Manchester United attacking from left to right. Shaw level with the penalty area, waits, they've doubled up on him, plays it back. Bruno Fernandes now with Matic, able to put his left foot on the ball, plays it back out towards that left hand side, chipped in by Shaw into the penalty area, and just covering across was Diego Rico to head it away, only as far as Bruno Fernandes. And now Pogba, half-hearted challenge, lost the ball, and the break is on, and it's Stanislas who will play it forward. King has made the run, a former Manchester United player, of course, out towards the left-hand side, plays it back in field. The ball from Lerma, played forward now then by Lloyd Kelly, hit by Lewis Cook and hit too long. Although Josh King applauds the ball as it goes over the head of the Norwegian international and out for a goal kick. 0-0, Stephen Warnock.
Well, straight away, Lewis Cook's trying a ball forward into Josh King, and the ball does go out of play, but it's something positive, because previously Bournemouth had looked back every single time. But as he played the ball forward and it goes out of play, 4 Bournemouth players shrugged the shoulders, arms in the air, waving, disappointed. That's not the attitude to have when you're down at the bottom. You need to encourage your players, encourage your teammates around you. That negative body language towards each other doesn't play a helpful part in being successful on the pitch.
That's the voice of Stephen Warnock here on BBC Radio 5 Live at Old Trafford, as Adam Smith hits it long from his right back roll. Stopped by Maguire. Now taken over by Matic, who gets the ball back from Pogba. and he runs towards the halfway line. His diagonal ball though was cut out by Stanislas on this near side. Bournemouth they'll go all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale, who hits it left-footed. Plenty of distance on that as well. Bounces off the knee of Josh King. Of course, he was linked with Manchester United in the January transfer window before Manchester United pursued Odion Ighalo instead. And Josh King might well still fancy his an opportunity to try and return to Old Trafford. Chance for him maybe to impress. Whether that ship has since sailed, only time will tell. As Pogba, forward ball, Greenwood, certainly the form of Greenwood you'd think so, as Martial can come forward. He gives the ball away. Won back though by Pogba, showed too much towards Lewis Cook. Brooks hits it up towards Josh King. Lewis Cook dinks it forward. Brooks has continued his run. Stanislas was closing down as well, and then it's just touched out of play by Lindelof. And out for a throw to Bournemouth on this near side.
That's better from Bournemouth, trying to play the ball forward earlier. The runs in behind from Josh King. David Brooks off the right hand side as well, making a positive run in. And what they've got to realise is that Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw are going to leave spaces in wide areas, and you've got to try and exploit that. It's good movement.
Bournemouth have a dreadful record here at Old Trafford. They've never won in their 8 visits. They've picked up a draw in March 2017. They've lost the other 7 encounters. They've conceded 21 goals and scored just 3 in those 8 games against Manchester United. But they have a throw on this near side, the left, which Lloyd Kelly is going to come across and take. He's playing as a central defender, the left side of the two. In the absence of Steve Cook, one of 3 changes that have been made. It's a long throw into the penalty area. It's attacked by the head of Pogba. It's played out then back on this near side as by Diego Rico towards the left. Stanislas with the ball fall into the penalty area, cut out by United. And Matic now on the edge of a D, turns into trouble, gives it straight towards Solanke. Solanke runs into the penalty area, and then Matic just barges him off the ball and wins it back as Matic redeems himself. As we welcome listeners from the BBC World Service here to an empty Old Trafford, behind closed doors of course, for Manchester United against Bournemouth in the Premier League. Wherever you are in the world, good afternoon. As a damp Old Trafford, Manchester United on the attack. Fernandes with the cross, caught by Ramsdale, all in his yellow goalkeeping outfit at his near post, and it remains 0-0 with Manchester United playing from left to right. Stephen Warnock.
How sharp does Marcus Rashford look? Every time he picks the ball up, his one thing on his mind is to drive at his defender, to make something happen. Fernandes as well, he reads the situation that he's just going to overrun it, pinches the ball in a dangerous position. Good claim from Ramsdale, but Rashford looks like the player today who looks like he's on song.
At the minute he's on the floor and took a heavy fall, I think did Marcus Rashford in a duel with Nathan Ake. Let's get an update from Brentford in the Championship then, Aaron Paul.
Yeah, no here, but Brentford have launched an immediate assault on the Wigan goal, with bodies frantically throwing themselves in front of the ball to keep it out of the net. Brian Mbeumo eventually smashing the ball onto the crossbar from just a few yards out. Impressive start from the Bees, 0-0.
Goal at Ewood Park, Delith Lloyd.
And it's the leaders' Leeds who have taken the lead. They are beating Blackburn by a goal to nil. Blackburn under no real pressure, but it was Lewis Travis who made a hash of the ball around 30 yards out from the goal line. Picked up by Clich, played it forward to Bamford, who was in the area, slotted it home low into the bottom corner. Blackburn 0, Leeds United 1.
Leeds United at the start of play were 6 points clear of third place Brentford. They're looking to extend that. West Bromwich Albion, of course, are the side also in the mix for the automatic promotion. But Blackburn 0, Leeds United 1. No other goals to tell you about in the Championship. As Stanislas runs forward for Bournemouth, his cross from the left corner of the penalty area rides up the body of Lindelof. He cuts it out, prevents it from going behind, and then the last touch of Stanislas on this near side, it goes out for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0 at Old Trafford. Leicester City against Crystal Palace, Jonathan Overend.
0-0 after 8 minutes. First chance falls to Kelechi Iheanacho, who is playing up top with Jamie Vardy. It's 2 up top with Perez just behind, Albrighton on the right, Tielemans off the left, and it was Albrighton's cross which was headed just wide by Iheanacho. 0-0.
Commentary of that game's on 5 Live Sports Extra. Leicester City are third, 55 points. They're a point clear of Chelsea and of course 3 ahead of Manchester United, but Manchester United are on the attack, and it's Greenwood on the right hand side. Fernandes doesn't deliver the cross from the right corner, plays it back in field towards Wan-Bissaka, back out towards Greenwood, just in from the right touchline. Matic then with a diagonal ball. Fernandes is pointing down to the right. Wan-Bissaka has made that run into that area. Instead it goes to Greenwood, scooped back into the penalty area by Pogba, but overhit it and into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. And we're yet to have an opportunity as we're into the 10th minute of this game. Stephen Warnock.
We are, but you can see when United get the ball how deep Bournemouth are dropping. They're dropping right onto the edge of the box, and that's just the back four. The midfield are probably a yard, 2 yards off them, just trying to stop gaps in between. There's a real patience about Manchester United now. Used to feel that they felt that they had to create an opportunity with every single pass. Now with Bruno Fernandes, Matic and Pogba in there's a real patience about what they're trying to do, and there's real creativity within that midfield.
0-0 here, 0-0 at Leicester City, and just the one goal in the Championship of the 3 o'clock games, where the leaders Leeds United are ahead at Blackburn Rovers, who've lost 3 of their last 4 as the ball is played forward, and Fernandes is in, and Fernandes couldn't keep it down as he hit it right-footed over the top of the crossbar. First opening of the game created for the home side. It's still 0-0.
What a pass, unbelievable pass from Rashford. Nips in off the left-hand side. He pulls it onto his right foot on the halfway line, just drills a ball into the run of Fernandes, and Fernandes should score. I think he should score. He gets in behind Kelly. Kelly doesn't see the run, and he only has to knock it past the on-rushing Ramsdale, and he's got an open goal. Tries to lift it over him, but he's got more time than he thinks.
He's been involved in 8 goals as Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League. He's scored 5 and he's had 3 assists. There's been a goal now down at the bottom of the Championship. It's a big game between Stoke City and Barnsley. Sarah Mulcairns.
And it's advantage Stoke in this relegation dogfight between Stoke and Barnsley, because they lead 1-0 thanks to a Sam Vokes goal. Header from a Sam Clucas corner. 9 minutes gone, and it is Stoke who lead 1-0.
Barnsley, who've been unbeaten in the restart. Stoke, who've lost their last 2, but that's a good start for Michael O'Neill. Remember, Leeds United is still 1-0 up at Blackburn Rovers, as Maguire finds Matic, able to stride forward. Bournemouth have everybody back behind the ball. Pogba has come short to collect. Back it goes into the centre circle for Maguire. Now Lindelof, the fullbacks are pushed on. Right side Wan-Bissaka, far side the left for Luke Shaw. They try and go through the middle, very congested, no way through. They get the ball back. It's Matic just outside the centre circle. Pogba again is just ahead of him, tries to pick out the run of Luke Shaw. Cut out well though by Bournemouth, and now it's with Stanislas to Lerma. Lerma has to go back. Lloyd Kelly gets it out onto his left foot. Diagonal ball along the ground. Diego Rigo unable to control it, and it bounces over him and out for a throw.
Well, the spaces for United are in the wide areas. You can see Bournemouth are really compact in the midfield, and they want the ball to go out to Wan-Bissaka or Luke Shaw. Rashford and both Greenwood coming in narrow to give them opportunities for the fullbacks to go wide. But United just trying to force it through the middle a little bit too much.
Manchester United are coming forward. Lindelof slides it through. Fernandes has Wan-Bissaka on the outside. Instead he crosses the ball. It's a flying header out by Adam Smith. Downward header then by Stanislas. Bournemouth try and hold on to the ball, but they give it away. There's been another goal at Stoke. We're going there in a moment, but Matic about 30 yards out towards Luke Shaw. Manchester United are being patient. Back it goes to Matic once more, playing in front of Bournemouth, trying to close down the opportunities at every avenue of Bournemouth at the moment. Lindelof now slides it forward. Here is Rashford, tries to nudge it through towards Greenwood, and Bournemouth will break back to Stoke City. Sarah.
It couldn't be going much better for the home side Stoke, because 10 minutes in they lead 2-0 against Barnsley in this relegation battle. James McLean had the ball out on the right. He just spun it into Tyrese Campbell, and Tyrese Campbell was able to backheel it into the net. They lead 2-0 against Barnsley.
That is an excellent start for Stoke City then. 2-0 up at home to Barnsley. Leeds United is still leading at Blackburn Rovers by 1-0, and Manchester United seeing a lot more of the ball in the last few minutes here at Old Trafford.
Yeah, just watching Bruno Fernandes really closely. I love his anticipation of where a ball's going to break and what he thinks a defender's going to do when they're in possession. One of the only players that I can think about who had that sort of anticipation was Luis Suarez. He could read what defenders were thinking and where they were going to play the ball, and he's also struck up this lovely relationship with Pogba, where when he comes deep into midfield to get on the ball, Pogba then becomes that player in behind Anthony Martial, so they've got a great relationship, and it always keeps a nice shape about United's team.
The significance of that Stoke City scoreline, by the way, is that they are now out of the relegation zone as it stands, and Middlesbrough have just dropped into the bottom three to join Barnsley and Luton Town. This is the Premier League. It's 5 Live in the World Service. Lindelof is coming forward. He might get a lucky break. They're back into the penalty area. Ramsdale was quickly off his line to smother. Couldn't gather the ball in, and Bournemouth will get the ball away. Let's get an update. Austrian Grand Prix qualifying. Jack Nicholls.
Yep, it's finished, the first session of the season, and Valtteri Bottas has beaten Lewis Hamilton to pole position in the Mercedes. Max Verstappen is third, but the big news really, Ferrari 7th for Charles Leclerc, 11th for Sebastian Vettel. The Italian team are in big trouble, but it's Bottas on pole.
Thank you, Jack. That, of course, takes place tomorrow. We've got the racing coming up. We've got the Oaks at 20-4 and the Derby at 5-5. You'll hear them both here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Gina Bryce and John Hunt are the team at Epsom. As Bournemouth can come forward now on that far side, it's with Brooks. Got a bit of a cast on his left wrist. Out to the right-hand side, Adam Smith with a cross. Solanke made the run. It might fall to Stanislas with a shot. He's dragged it. It might have hit the body of Solanke. Stanislas has kept it alive, and Stanislas from the acute angle has gone and put the ball in the net, and Bournemouth have taken a surprise lead. Bournemouth lead Manchester United by 1-0, and Junior Stanislas with that goal.
And what a goal it is, Deno. The nutmeg is absolutely outrageous. Harry Maguire comes towards him right on the touchline and on the goal line, and he thinks he's just going to block whatever Stanislas is going to do, whether he thinks he's going to try and shoot. He just flicks it through the legs and then just hammers it past David De Gea. It's a quite brilliant goal. Bournemouth's first real attack of the day. It's Stanislas with the shot initially blocked, and then a lovely little nutmeg on Harry Maguire, and then beats David De Gea near post. Could the shot be on the cards?
You always say, don't you, that the goalkeeper shouldn't be beaten inside his near post. Was that just that he's got his angles wrong, De Gea?
I don't think he expects Maguire to get beat. He's on his heels as Maguire gets beaten. Then I don't think he's got his angle right. I think he realises that he's not as close to his post as he'd like to be when he turns and looks. I think he should do better there, De Gea. He shouldn't be beaten that close to his goal.
I gave a very short and sharp and swift response when Steve Crossman earlier saying, has Bournemouth got any hope here at Manchester United? And it was just no. And I noticed that the 5 Live Sport Twitter team had posted that on. I can already imagine that there'll be some smug Bournemouth fan on the South Coast saying this aged well, or some sarky comment like that. But Bournemouth are ahead, and from a neutral's point of view, it's going to make it an entertaining game now, because Manchester United, this would be a real setback, wouldn't it, for Manchester United to lose at home to Bournemouth, given that the form that they've been in. But they are behind and they're on the attack, and it's with Fernandes. Out it goes to Shaw, first time cross, blocked and cut out by Lerman. Let's get an update from Leicester. Jonathan Overend.
0-0, but Leicester dominating. Perez has just seen an effort brilliantly blocked by Saka, who's busy in the centre of the Palace defence. And a moment ago, James Justin coming up from full-back. He's hit the post with a vicious 20-yard right-foot drive. Great effort from the former Luton man. It's Leicester 0, Palace 0.
Junior Stanislas with his first goal of the season. Bournemouth are leading Manchester United by 1-0, but a free kick has been given against Bournemouth for a foul on Paul Pogba, and that is going to give this shooting distance, this free kick.
But what that goal does now, Dano, it gives them something to protect. It gives them confidence that the game plan that they've come here and set out to do can be achieved. Suddenly there'll be a spring in the step after stepping off the bus looking like they were defeated already. They have something to hold on to.
I was watching the game in midweek, and the TV commentator in midweek said that Manchester United have not scored this season, I think, from 28 direct free kicks. It's Rashford. Oh, he nearly did then. He hit it right-footed, and it was Ramsdale at full flight and made the save to turn it behind for a corner. There's been a goal at Luton. Mike Williams.
And it's the visitors who are ahead here. It's Luton 0, Reading 1, and it's Yaku Meite with his 13th goal of the season. It was a lovely ball from John Swift, the Reading midfielder, who found the on-rushing Meite as Reading go on to double their lead. 2 goals in as many minutes, and it's Meite again. He's now scored 2 in 3 minutes here at Kenilworth Road. Reading now take a commanding lead here against bottom side Luton. It's Luton 0, Reading 2.
So Luton need to respond after those 2 quick-fire goals for Reading. That will keep Luton in the relegation zone. From the resulting corner, it was headed over by Lindelof, and no problems to Ramsdale. What about the save from the free kick?
Really good save. I thought you were going to have a terrible afternoon, Deno. I thought he was going to stick it in the top corner, make your afternoon even longer. But really good save from Ramsdale, because I think what he does really well is that he takes a couple of yards off his line, so he closes the goal down, makes it look smaller. Good push round the post, not trying to be silly, trying to hold on to anything, so on rushing forwards can have a tap in.
Stanislas' last goal was against Brighton in April 2019, and it's his goal that gives Bournemouth what would be a precious 3 points here at Old Trafford. So Reading are 2-0 up at Luton Town, Stoke City lead Barnsley 2-0, and Leeds United are 1-0 up at Ewood Park in the Championship. They're the games where there have been goals. Manchester United with Pogba. Forward ball, Wan-Bissaka on this right-hand side, back with Pogba, infield to Matic. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right-hand side, as Manchester United defending the Stretford end play from left to right. Maguire, short diagonal ball, Matic then out towards Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka now coming forward, Stanislas is ahead of him, down towards the byline, came off the legs of Stanislas. It'll be a corner kick. Defending well, Bournemouth.
Defending really well, and it's going to take a lot of effort from Stanislas on one side and Brooks on the other side to stay with the fullbacks, to be in 1v1 situations and defend them, because Wan-Bissaka fancies his chances to get a cross in. He almost did steal that half a yard, but Stanislas did really well.
So it's going to be Fernandes to take the corner kick for Manchester United. It's right-footed, it's an away swinger. It comes out to Shaw on the edge of the area. It was blocked then by a sliding Brooks. Tell you what, they're committing a lot of men back behind the ball, but they're throwing themselves in front of everything as Rashford tries to get round the back. His header, and Ramsdale just dropped short of the goalkeeper, and Greenwood was there, and the last touch is adjudged to have come off Mason Greenwood, the Manchester United player, and it will be a goal kick. So Bournemouth still lead by a goal to nil. That goal that was scored after 16 minutes by Junior Stanislas means that it's the first goal that Manchester United have conceded in 8 hours and 20 minutes of football since Jay Rodriguez scored here for Burnley in a 2-0 win. But we talked before about the confidence if they were to concede the first goal. What a shot in the arm now for these Bournemouth players, that they've got something to protect.
Well, that's the big thing, isn't it? You're sort of travelling down and you're thinking, or travelling up and you're thinking, if we can get a goal, we can cling on to something. And it was the first attack that Bournemouth had really had of any substance, and it's just such a moment of quality, and that's what they're going to need. They're going to need someone, a game changer in the final games of the season to get themselves out of trouble. The defenders now have to do their job. We saw some of the mistakes that they made against Newcastle, and they were real schoolboy errors. And I'm sure Eddie Howe won't want this water break. He'll want to carry on the game. He'll want to keep the momentum going.
No, the water breaks are very much like a tactical break for Manchester United to try and take advantage as they trail by a goal to nil, the home side, as the free kick for Bournemouth will be dealt with by Matic. It's cut out though by Lerma, and Kelly then scoops over the cross, headed away by Rashford, only as far as Stanislas with the effort, hit it on the volley, but always on the rise off his right foot, and that'll be a goal kick. And there is the whistle from Mike Dean. But a quarter of the game gone, and it's Bournemouth who lead by a goal to nil here at Old Trafford. So we have a drinks break, but there's been a goal at Griffin Park in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
Brentford 1, Wigan 0. Said Benrahma, who's finally blown the Wigan house down, pivoting, twisting and turning, and just firing past David Marshall in the Lattice goal. Brentford 1, Wigan 0.
Remember, Brentford are looking to put pressure on West Bromwich Albion. They still have Leeds United in their sights, but with a scoreline from Ewood Park, it would mean that there is still 6 points the difference between Brentford and Leeds United, who has a sayer at Blackburn, and so is Deleth Lloyd.
Yeah, it's still Blackburn 0, Leeds 1, but Blackburn have hit the post. Sam Gallagher playing Lewis Holtby onside, but the midfielder smashing it against the upright from around 8 yards. Real good game, this open game. Leeds still lead by that early Patrick Bamford strike, and an enforced substitute for Blackburn. Captain Elliot Bennett is off. Stuart Downing's come on as a makeshift left back. It's Blackburn 0, Leeds 1.
After the result earlier of Derby County 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Forest climbed to 4th. It meant that Fulham slipped to 5th. They're at home to Birmingham. Katie Shanahan.
Yeah, well, it's Fulham 0, Birmingham City 0. Good couple of early chances by the visitors. Fulham, I must say, have been fast asleep at the back, not communicating and nearly gifting Birmingham an early goal. Jude Bellingham with the best chance so far for them. The 17-year-old has had interest, remember, from Borussia Dortmund and Manchester United, and I must say it's looking really dangerous today. Right now, though, it's still 0-0 here at Craven Cottage.
We've heard of Reading's 2 quick-fire goals as they lead bottom of the table, Luton Town, by 2-0, but Stoke City, are they still comfortable? Sarah Mulkerins.
They certainly are. As it stands, they lead Barnsley by 2-0 in this relegation dogfight. Those early goals, a header from Sam Vokes from a corner, and then a nice clean finish from Tyrese Campbell, backheeling the ball into the back of the net for their second just 2 minutes later. Jacob Brown with a diving header is probably the closest that Barnsley have gone, but it never really troubled Butland in the Stoke goal. It is Stoke who lead 2-0 against Barnsley.
We're back underway here at Old Trafford after the drinks break, where Bournemouth lead by 1-0. Leicester City Crystal Palace also in the Premier League. Jonathan Overend.
Well, we've played for 24 minutes here. It's Leicester 0, Crystal Palace 0. Chilwell's had a knock to the ankle, received some treatment, but he's back on. Vardy is busy up front. He's looking for those runs, but really Leicester aren't exploiting any space down the channels, particularly with Iheanacho and Vardy up top. Maybe they're missing out on that. It's 0-0 so far.
Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here we are then at Old Trafford, and the stopwatch, which is kept on ticking throughout that drinks break, says we've now played 25 minutes. Wan-Bissaka down the right hand side. Bruno Fernandes level with the penalty area, holds on to it, then plays it towards Wan-Bissaka. Lewis Cook was across on this near side. Wan-Bissaka now it's in field towards Greenwood, towards Matic. Again, they're playing in front of Bournemouth. It's a short forward ball just outside the D. Rashford then plays it out towards Wan-Bissaka, brings the ball under control, plays it behind him. Bruno Fernandes with a cross, first time ball in, downward header by Diego Rico, picked up by Matic ahead of Solanke. They're going to have to really work hard at Bournemouth to protect this lead. They're going to come under some strong pressure, you would imagine, from Manchester United. As Shaw along the ground, laid off by Rashford. Fernandes pops it out towards the left hand side towards Matic, but it was intercepted, and Adam Smith will clear for Bournemouth. And those change strips, that was in aqua blue, laid off then by Greenwood. Rashford skips out of the challenge from Ake. Pogba, man over Wan-Bissaka, right hand side, first time cross into the penalty area, dealt with by Kelly, did well under pressure, side on to goal, but just got it away, did Bournemouth. And now the break is on for Josh King up against Lindelof. He'll carry the ball forward. Josh King, left corner of the penalty area, in towards Solanke, and couldn't take it in his stride. Solanke in the penalty area, and Manchester United will come forward. Stephen Warnock.
Magnificent break from Bournemouth, and it just shows exactly what you wanted to do. Get Lindelof in a 1v1 race with Josh King. Josh King just smokes him, doesn't he? Just runs past him far too easily. But then you need numbers, people to get up alongside him. That's Brooks and Solanke, and they do it perfectly, knowing that they've got that base behind them.
Well, this would be a huge 3 points for Bournemouth. It would be damaging for Manchester United when you think that they're in between Leicester, Chelsea and Wolverhampton Wanderers for a place in the top 4 for potential football for Champions League next season. Martial, we haven't really seen much of Martial of late, have we, in this game?
Well, we haven't, because there's no space in behind. That's what Bournemouth have done really well. They've compressed that space, they've played deep, and there's no ball over the top to him. Bournemouth are out again.
Ball played out by King to Stanislas. Rico's coming on the overlap if required on this near side, the left, as they attack the Stretford end, playing from right to left. Bournemouth. Stanislas chips the ball, hits the head of Lindelof, picked up now by Greenwood in a very deep position. Forward ball to Rashford, hits it early, and Bruno Fernandes, it will kick away off the greasy surface, because there's been a bit of rain in the northwest of England, brightening up a little bit in terms of the high clouds, and the drizzle appears to have stopped now, but it means that the ball's just going to kick off that wet surface, and out of play it went for a throw away from the Portuguese international. Didn't look too happy, Solskjaer, did he, during the drinks break, the Manchester United manager?
No, he will be disappointed. And Bournemouth, Eddie Howe on the other hand, will be delighted. And just see the confidence growing. They struggled to get out in the first 10 minutes. They couldn't play out. Now they're finding gaps.
Matic hits the ball forward. Rashford plays it back. Fernandes just outside the penalty area on the stretch. He's picked out Greenwood. Oh, what a blistering finish that is from Mason Greenwood. A young striker who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says the sky is the limit, and that was a fierce finish as Manchester United are level at 1-1.
What a ball from Fernandes. He fizzes it past Adam Smith into the path of Greenwood, and Greenwood His first touch is immaculate. It just puts it exactly where he wants it to be. Just a half a yard in front of him. The strike is quite astonishing, to be honest with you. It's top corner. It gives Ramsdale no chance at all. Far corner, diagonal ball. The initial chance comes from Rico going in for a tackle. He stays down on the floor. Rashford finds himself on the right hand side, feeds it into Fernandes, and Fernandes goes back out to the left hand side where Rashford is Greenwood is interchanged with Rashford. But the first touch is delightful, just out of his feet, just lashes it in. Perhaps on second looking, Ramsdale should do a little bit better. It's not a strong hand from Ramsdale. A possibility he should do better, but the sheer pace of the ball takes it past him.
And it means that Manchester United are back level. It also means that Bruno Fernandes has been involved in 9 goals in his 9 Premier League games so far, or 8 and a bit if you want to be precise, because 5 goals and now 4 assists for Bruno Fernandes. Always gets the ball out of his feet very, very quickly, as Wan-Bissaka has a cross that is diverted away off the legs of Diego Rico, but they benefited, didn't they, Manchester United? Rashford running into the space vacated by the left back as Fernandes now works over the cross just over the head of Rashford, reaches the left corner of the penalty area. Shaw, little slip by Greenwood, it'll instead reach the feet of King to try and bring the ball clear for Bournemouth. We're back at 1-1 here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0, as Bournemouth hit it high and downfield, and Stanislas, who gave Bournemouth a surprise lead, enters the penalty area inside left channel, closed down then by Lindelof, and there it is from Fernandes, hits it early towards Martial. Martial was fouled inside the centre circle, and that'll be a free kick to Manchester United. We'll get an update from Ewood Park in the Championship. Deleth Lloyd.
Still at Leeds 1, leading here against Blackburn. It could have been 2 though. Patrick Bamford has hit the post. Some great link-up play on the right flank by Harrison and Ayling. Harrison played it into Bamford. Lovely turn by the striker, but left-footed, hit the far post. It's Blackburn 0, still Leeds 1.
And remember, Brentford, who are third, are leading Wigan Athletic by 1-0. One of your former clubs, a number of your former clubs, Stephen Warnock.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, it's just a few, isn't there? Liverpool, Blackburn, Aston Villa, Wigan, Bradford City, Coventry.
Keep going. Stop looking
count.
On your sheet.
14 minutes to go to half time. And just to think, your commentary career started here at this stadium, Old Trafford, Manchester United against Brighton 2 years ago, and now you're a TV star.
Learnt everything I know off you, Deno.
Not in TV, you didn't. I've got a face for radio. 1-1. Where will we go now then? They'll go Brentford. Brentford against Wigan. Aaron Paul in the Championship.
Brentford 1, Wigan Athletic 0, where the bees, the engine is really kicked in. They are harassing the Wigan Athletic on. A really brilliant stat released by Brentford this afternoon. 50 of their 70 league goals have been scored by Benrahma, and Buema and Watkins, the BMW. They really are roaring into life, and if Brentford are going to push on to the Premier League, it is them who are going to carry them forward. It is Brentford 1, Wigan 0.
Well, Bournemouth is stalling after that goal from Mason Greenwood, which 1-1. They've just conceded another corner kick. Lerma has been booked as well now for Bournemouth for that challenge earlier from Martial. So Fernandes to take the corner kick for Manchester United. 1-1, 13 minutes to go to half time. BBC Radio 5 Live. Fernandes, right-footed. Maguire looks to attack it, comes out of the penalty area. Shaw chips the ball back into the penalty area. Martial with a header bobbling around. That was a handball, was it? Maguire stabs it in. The referee's given the penalty. There was a handball in there. It was played in by Shaw. It was Martial's downward header, and it was Lewis Cook, I think it was.
No, I think it was Adam Smith. Yeah,
Adam Smith. It struck the hand of Adam Smith. It will automatically be checked by VAR, but you would imagine that this would be given.
Oh, it's definitely going to get given. And you can see Adam Smith now. He's looking round as if to say, what have I done? And it is accidental. It's just jumped up off the ground towards him. He's tried to get himself in a good position, and it's ricocheted off another player onto him. It's very unfortunate, but the pressure that Manchester United have put on since they've scored that equaliser has been relentless, and Bournemouth were struggling to sort of get out of their own box.
Marcus Rashford has the ball underneath his right arm, still waiting for The VAR official, Lee Mason, is the VAR who'll be looking at this at Stockley Park. The penalty has been given as Rashford now places the ball down on the spot. Manchester United have been awarded now 12 penalties this season. It's the most in the Premier League. They have scored in 7 of the previous 11. Marcus Rashford, who is yet to score since the restart. He's gone 5 games without a goal. Rashford waits with this penalty now up against Aaron Ramsdale. Rashford runs up now, yet to score since restart. He has now, and that takes his tally to 20 as he finds the bottom right-hand corner, and Manchester United have come from behind and lead Bournemouth by 2-1.
What a composed penalty that is from Marcus Rashford. The slow run up, the arced run up. He tries to sit the goalkeeper down. Ramsdale's not buying it. Just the pace of the ball takes it past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. And now this is the worry for Bournemouth. Can they react from being a goal down, from being a goal ahead? 5 minutes later, they suddenly find themselves behind in the game. And this is where the character, the togetherness of the team really needs to come together.
2 goals in the space of 6 minutes for Manchester United, and they now lead Bournemouth by 2-1. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0 is still the latest scoreline. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. In the Championship, where there have been goals, Blackburn 0, the leaders Leeds United 1, Brentford 1, Wigan 0, Luton 0, Reading 2, and Stoke City still lead Barnsley by 2-0. Huddersfield Preston is 0-0, as is Fulham against Birmingham City, and Bristol City against Cardiff City is also goalless. Solanke caught offside, the back heel there towards Brooks. He'll still put the ball in the back of the net, which I would imagine would mean that it'll be checked by VAR as a matter of course. The flag is still up from Darren Cann on that far side. This will, I imagine, will be the fact. Yeah, it will go into it'll still be checked by VAR, is it?
Yeah, I think it has to be, doesn't it, by law? You look at the position of Solanke and Lindelof on the pitch, and you're thinking, well, did Lindelof play Solanke in because of the run that he made? But he's clearly offside. The goal won't stand.
So Brooks did the right thing by putting it in the back of the net, but after that VAR check, play is about to get underway, and it still remains Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 1, 9 minutes to go to half-time. There's been another goal at Kenilworth Road, Mike Williams.
And it's a 3rd goal for Reading and a hat-trick for Yacoub Meite. This one, I think, the best of the lot. He was found by the Reading playmaker Ajaria on the edge of the box and absolutely rifled it past Sluga in the Luton goal. Long way to come back now for the bottom side. Luton, they trail Reading here by 3-0.
Yeah, they had been unbeaten in 6, Luton Town in the Championship, and in fact hadn't lost since Nathan Jones had returned to the club, but they will probably stay bottom of the Championship with a scoreline like that. We're going to be going racing very soon at Epsom. It's the Oaks at 20-4. The derby, remember, also being staged today. We'll have that also for you here at 5-5 on BBC Radio 5 Live. But Manchester United lead by 2-1 here, and we've been playing for 37 minutes now at Old Trafford as Pogba to Matic. Matic will come forward, plays the ball out towards the left-hand side for Luke Shaw. Matic has stayed in close proximity, and it's back then with the Serbian forward ball. Martial lays it off. They look a much more settled side, Manchester United, don't they now?
They certainly do, and the interchange, the interplay between the midfield three is very impressive. What I love about Matic is the way he drives out with the ball now, and he commits people in midfield, knowing that the quality up front is there, that they are going to hold the ball up, that they're going to make the runs.
Here he is again, Matic, holding everything together in that midfield forward ball, and then allowing Pogba and Fernandes ahead of him to go and do their natural thing and play. As Wan-Bissaka had made the run forward to the edge of the area, he was stopped. Lerma now will hit a flat ball forward. It's over the head of Josh King, and it will run out of play for a Manchester United throw. So United still lead by 2-1. It would take them on to 55 points. It would take them level with Leicester City. It would take them just ahead of Chelsea, who play tonight. Chelsea against Watford. Wolves against Arsenal is at 5:30. And Leicester City, they're at home, of course, to Crystal Palace. In fact, Leicester would be on 56 So they wouldn't, as it stands, they're just in behind Leicester City but ahead of Chelsea for what is becoming a real tight cluster of clubs in that pursuit behind Liverpool and Manchester City for the 2 remaining berths for Champions League football next season. Leicester City, Manchester United, Chelsea and Wolves. The picture will become a little bit clearer once we've watched Match of the Day tonight at 10:20 on BBC One. Manchester United watching the run of Ake bring the ball out of defence to King. Midway through the United half, holds it up. Rico, the left back, comes forward. Aimless ball really from Diego Rico, and dealt with well by Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka, forward ball, Fernandes able to turn forward to Greenwood. Greenwood was conscious of Diego Rico. I think he was anticipating the sliding challenge, and as he just dodged out of the way, it ran through and out for a throw to Bournemouth on this near side. 6 minutes to go to half time.
He looks a real talent, though, Greenwood, doesn't he? He just plays with a real maturity about him. He's demanding the ball all the time, and that shows how much he's enjoying his football and how much he's trusted by his teammates as well. Lovely skill from Stanislas.
So much natural ability for Mason Greenwood, but the ferocity of the finish. I mean, it was hit with real venom, wasn't it, from Mason Greenwood. Another goal at Stoke City. It was Stoke City 2, Barnsley 0. Sarah Mulcairns.
They are in cruise control here, are Stoke. They lead 3-0 against Barnsley in this relegation dogfight. Michael O'Neill was scathing about his team after their loss midweek. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, and then Tyrese Campbell has got his second of the day from a corner, slotted it in. They lead 3-0 against Barnsley.
Stoke 3 to the good then at home to Barnsley. Reading lead by the same scoreline at Kenilworth Road. BBC Radio 5 Live with 5 minutes to go to half time. Kelly with the throw for Bournemouth, attacking the Stretford end, comes off the side of the head by Solanke, volleyed away by Greenwood, picked up by Stanislas, but the referee Mike Dean has blown his whistle for Diego Rico's challenge on Martial, and that'll be a free kick to the home side. Another goal at Ewood Park. Deleth Lloyd.
The leaders have doubled their lead. It's Blackburn 0, Leeds 2. Terrific free kick from Calvin Phillips, 25 yards out to the left of the D. He unleashed a right-footed belter over the wall into the top corner. Christian Walton stretched but couldn't quite reach it. Great goal. Blackburn 0, Leeds 2.
Leeds United looking to consolidate their position at the top of the Championship. King forward for Bournemouth, trailing by 2-1. Left-hand side of the penalty area. King. He's got Lindelof in front of him, gets down towards the byline and wins a corner, does Josh King, off the legs of Lindelof.
It's the same play every single time. Josh King pulling onto the shoulder of Lindelof on this right-hand side of Man United's fullback, Wan-Bissaka, as he pushes in. It's a lovely weighted ball over the top from Lewis Cook, and Josh King doesn't have to break his stride, and suddenly he's a 1v1 in the penalty area going at Lindelof. Good defending from Lindelof, though.
Corner kick then for Bournemouth, which is going to be taken on this near side by Stanislas, who gave Bournemouth that surprise lead after 16 minutes. His left arm is aloft, he hits it right-footed, headed away by Rashford inside the 6-yard area at the near post, brought under control by Rico to Smith, who waits, strokes it along the ground, that wet surface here at Old Trafford. Held up then by Stanislas. Every outfield player then was in the Manchester United half, and then Adam Smith, who was in the central area, almost the right back playing as a central defender, goes all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale in yellow away towards our right hand side. Hit downfield, headed away by Maguire, picked up by Lewis Cook. Smith on that far side, back to the former Leeds United midfielder Lewis Cook. Smith and he exchange passes. Brooks comes in off the right touch line. Infield, Lerma, a little bit behind him, but they've kept the ball of Bournemouth. And then it's back with Ake. Kelly on this near side. Brooks has actually popped up on this left hand side now to get the ball. He's come short of the halfway line, come very, very deep to collect it off the right, plays it forward, headed away by Wan-Bissaka, headed back though by Lerma. Rico's diagonal ball taken on the half turn then by Stanislas. They're underway in the Oaks at Epsom, and your commentator as always, John Hunt.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian. Yes, a small field this year, just 8 fillies for the 3rd Classic of the year in Britain. The Derby to come, of course, the 4th later this afternoon. And in these eerie conditions, taking them along early is Martin Harley aboard Tiempo Vuela, setting what looks to be a strong gallop ahead of Passion in 2nd place. Racing along in 3rd place is Barani Star and Oisin Murphy. Oisin to ride the favourite Kimiko in the Derby in just over an hour's time. 4th place for Queen Daenerys. At the moment, fancied runners like Love and also Frankly Darling are held up right at the back of the field. Last of all is Enis Timon and Shamie Heffernan. 2 runners have got away here, Tiempo Vuela and Passion, and they are now about 7 or 8 lengths clear in the Oaks as they race towards the top of the hill. First half mile behind them then, Andrew Thornton, Gold Cup winner, watching on with us here. These 2 have gone off fast, Andrew.
They've gone off quick. Tempo Viola, stablemate of the well-fancied Frankly Darling, making sure it's a good tempo. Frankly Darling had been a bit keen at Ascot, but they're making sure they are going a real good rattle here with Passion upsides. They must be 20 lengths clear of the rest, John. The rest of them are really taking no notice of the pace whatsoever.
And the times are quick here this afternoon. There is a strong wind gusting, and if it gusts in your favour, it's easier to get home. And at the moment, as Andrew says, these 2 still miles clear. The 2 are Tiempo Vuela, who's now come under a bit of pressure, but swinging round Tatnam Corner, Passion and Porrig Beggy about to take up the lead here. Passion hits the front. The 2 of them are still a dozen or so lengths clear of the chasers. There's work to do for Love, who's riding behind them. Enis Timon's got work to do. So too Frankly Darling. Frankie Dettori pushing along in second last position at the moment. Queen Daenerys is up on his outside as they now move on towards the closing stages in the Oaks here at Epsom. Love beginning now to move into top gear. The earlier leader Passion has been beaten off, and it's now Love in front from Enis Timon, with now in third Frankly Darling, but they're coming home at wide intervals. There's only one in this, the Oaks with Love. She was so impressive at Newmarket in the 1,000 guineas. More so here, a tremendous win for her, a beautiful name, a beautiful horse. It's all about Love here on Derby Day at Epsom as she, Love, wins the Oaks. About 8 lengths clear, I reckon, of Enis Timon in second, Frankly Darling in third. They were well clear of Passion and Queen Daenerys. Andrew, I can't help but think we've seen a really top class filly there. Love's won the Oaks.
The Guineas Oaks double. It's done it very, very well, and what a performance there for Ryan Moore.
In Love, the 11-10 favourite, then home safely in the Oaks. Can Aidan O'Brien win the Derby later on for an 8th time? That's the question here at a now windswept Epsom Downs.
And you'll hear it, of course, here on BBC Radio 5 Live with Andrew and John, and the Derby is due for the off at 5-5. You haven't missed anything whilst you've been away. Manchester United still leading Bournemouth by 2-1. It's still Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0 elsewhere in the Premier League, as Manchester United, who've come from behind to lead this game here at Old Trafford, looking to extend their unbeaten run to 16 games as Matic collects this ball 30 yards out from goal, central position, just the 1 goal he's scored so far this season. Fernandez plays it out, Martial cuts inside. Oh, what a goal! That is a splendid goal from Anthony Martial, who's hit it right-footed, sails over Ramsdale into the top right-hand corner. That was an absolute beauty. Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 1.
Unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable from Martial. He finds himself on the left-hand side. You said before, Deno, that he was getting frustrated. He hadn't been in the game much. He interchanges and finds himself on that left-hand side of the front 3. And then he drives inside on his right foot, bends it into the far top corner. Ramsdale's nowhere near. It's a phenomenal finish from Anthony Martial, quite brilliant.
Well, he scored the hat-trick against Sheffield United. He's now scored 9 goals in his last 8 home games. That's actually more than he'd scored in his previous 29 at Old Trafford, but that is one that he would be proud of. That was absolutely perfect. And Manchester United leading 3-1, and in stoppage time here in this first half, you wouldn't have known that they had that scare after conceding the first goal. Indeed, they might be threatening again. Martial once more, but it's taken off his toes by Ake. And for Bournemouth to concede a third just before half-time, when Eddie Howe be thinking, let's just get into half-time, a goal behind, and try and work out now. It's an uphill task for Bournemouth here, 3-1 down.
Yeah, it's a killer blow for Bournemouth. But what's really impressive about United now is that they're like a boxer. They're slow with the jab, and then all of a sudden they can really explode into life. They've got that ability just to create something out of nowhere.
Well, there is the half-time whistle, and Manchester United are leading Bournemouth by 3-1. Stanislas gave the visitors a shock lead after 16 minutes, but Manchester United, just before the half hour, with a blistering shot from Greenwood, level to make it 1-1. Then Smith was penalised for handball, the penalty converted by Rashford 6 minutes later, and then that gem of a goal by Martial, and Manchester United are in control. Stephen Warnock.
Oh, they're completely in control. Bournemouth, like you say, scored on the break and against the run of play. Solskjaer looked a little bit unhappy when Bournemouth scored, and almost like he was frustrated with his team, but great teams, good teams, they come back, they have the answers, and Manchester United have been dominant since they scored the equaliser and have been more than impressive in this first half against a poor Bournemouth team.
Manchester United then in control. They're leading Bournemouth by 3-1.
Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, all scoring. Manchester United, as it stands, heading into the top 4 tonight at Chelsea's expense. 85058 at 5 Live Sport. Greenwood is so mature for his age, says Aidan. Mark, I don't mind Rashford taking a penalty. He needed it for his confidence. Ola, what a goal from Stanislas. And Will Martial produces some more magic. Thanks to Ian and Stephen. We'll be back with them for second half commentary. We've got so much to get round. We're going to start at the King Power Stadium. Half time there on 5 Live Sports Extra. Jonathan Overend.
It's Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0. Leicester dominated the early stages. Diamond in midfield. Iheanacho and Vardy up front as a 2. Jose Perez influential, playing just behind them. But actually their best opportunity came from a fullback. James Justin up from right back hit the angle of bar and post from the edge of the box. It was a great attempt, but Leicester denied there. Palace's one real opportunity was from a set play. Milivojevic for a free kick, 20 yards, just wide. We all thought it was heading for the top corner, but it missed. Albrighton and Cresswell have been busy getting low balls in from wide, but Sacco and Cahill have both made crucial interventions at the back for Palace. And at the break, it's Leicester 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Into the Championship. Great first half for the leaders. Leeds at Blackburn. Dally Floyd.
Terrific, Steve, because they're up here 2-0. Leeds came roaring out the blocks. Patrick Bamford putting them ahead inside 7 minutes after some great work by Click. Bamford finishing low in the corner from just inside the area for his 15th of the campaign. Both sides then hit the post. Lewis Holtby for Blackburn from close range, and Bamford then on the turn from around 16 yards. Blackburn keeper Christian Walton then saved off the line from Luke Ayling, who was up for a corner. From the resulting move, Leeds won a free kick. Kelvin Phillips liked the look of it, 25 yards out left of centre. He struck it beautifully right-footed and it dipped into the top left corner. As it stands, Leeds extending their grip at the top by 4 points. It's Blackburn 0, Leeds 2.
Leeds top flying, Luton bottom flailing. Mike Williams.
Yeah, dominant display here from Reading. They lead Luton by 3-0. The story of the first half, a very impressive hat-trick, or yak-trick as Reading Twitter have coined it, scored by striker Jakub Mete. He scored 2 in 2 minutes just after the quarter-hour mark. Puskás the provider for both of those, laying off the ball to the Ivorian Mete, who was clinical firing the ball into the back of the Luton net. His third came 10 minutes from the break. Ejaria with the assist this time. He found Mete, who curled his shot round Sluga to surely put the visitors out of sight here. Bottom side Luton had hit the crossbar at 0-0. James Collins seeing his header crash off the woodwork, but as things stand, Nathan Jones's team will stay rooted to the bottom of the Championship table.
And as things stand, Stoke will climb out of the relegation zone. Sarah Mulcairns.
Yeah, certainly will. They are up to 18th at the moment. Remember, they started in the bottom 3. And Michael O'Neill, well, he was scathing about his Stoke team after their loss midweek. That rocket seemed to have worked. 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes from Sam Vokes with the first header from a corner. 2 minutes later, then Tyrese Campbell backheel through the defender's leg after some nice work from James McLean to draw the keeper out on the left. And, well, Stoke didn't really drop off in intensity since then. First to every ball, chasing, pressing. Barnsley really struggled to get a foothold into this. Best chance for them, German right back Kilian Ludwig. Powerful shot from the right edge of the area, and that was punched clear by Butland. And then Tyrese Campbell, just before the half time, he rounded off a first half to forget really for the Barnsley defence. A second goal for him. He found himself clear in the area when Sam Clucas sent in a corner kick. Now, Barnsley hadn't conceded a goal since the restart. They must be feeling bewildered after that first half. They are still second bottom and they are trailing Stoke here by 3-0.
Earlier it finished Derby 1, Nottingham Forest 1, so Derby stay just outside the playoffs. Cardiff are just in them. How are they getting on at Bristol City? Michelle Owen.
It's Bristol City 0, Cardiff City 0 at half-time, Steve. Fairly even in terms of possession, but Cardiff having the edge. They certainly look more threatening. They had a chance headed off the line when Sean Morrison's header downwards was just cleared away by Jay Da Silva, and then Famara Zizou managed to clear as well just after that. Nathan Baker has made some great blocks. He did well to block Joe Rell's shot, and straight after, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang had a shot that looked on target for Cardiff, and Baker blocked that as well. Bristol City going forward haven't done a lot as the half went on. Zach Viner had a header easily saved from a Callum O'Dowda free kick, but it's Cardiff that have had the upper hand, certainly as the half went on as well. They look like they've got more confidence, which isn't surprising because Bristol City haven't won since the restart, and Cardiff City have had 2 wins and a draw and are looking to try and push on from that 61 points they sit on in 6th. But for now, it's Bristol City 0, Cardiff City 0.
Nothing doing there. What about at Craven Cottage, Casey Shanahan?
Well, it's 0-0 between Fulham and Birmingham City, so it's been a good half despite there being no goals. Birmingham nearly went ahead early on through 17-year-old Jude Bellingham. Jake Lott-Salton, Scott Hogan have also gone close, but Fulham's Marek Rodak has been brilliant today. Fulham have had 80% possession but haven't had a shot on target, which tells the story, whereas Birmingham, they haven't won in 9 games and are looking particularly strong today. So let's hope we can have some goals in the second half. Fulham 0, Birmingham City 0.
Huddersfield started the day 1 point outside the relegation zone, half-time in their game with Preston. Naz Premji.
Huddersfield 0, Preston 0, 45 fairly uneventful minutes here. Preston have forced a number of corners but made nothing of them. Huddersfield have been busy and bright, but again haven't really threatened Declan Rudd's goal. Lewis O'Brien with a shot a minute from the break. Routine save for Rudd. Huddersfield 0, Preston North End 0.
So as it stands, that would mean that Preston would stay 9th in the table. Brentford still hoping for automatic promotion. How are they getting on against Wigan, Aaron Paul?
Yeah, Brentford 1, Wigan 0. Gorgeous goal from Saeed Ben Rama splits the teams here in what has been 45 minutes of attack versus a very brave defence. Brentford had dominated and could have scored inside the opening 3 minutes with Brian Mbeumo firing against a crossbar. Christian Norgard went close before Saeed Ben Rama fired home with some neat footwork to beat David Marshall. That was Wigan's first goal conceded since February 15th. They haven't had an attempt on target or off target. On a side note, the spirit between the Wigan players is absolutely phenomenal, applauding each other, encouraging each other, and the noise from the bench as well. They are really, really vocal, and they're in this together. They need to be, though, because it's Brentford 1, Wigan 0.
And if it stays like this, Brentford will be 2 points behind West Brom in second place, although West Brom will have a game in hand, which is at home to Hull City tomorrow. Already today in the Premier League, finished Norwich 0, Brighton 1. Emotional scenes at the end of that game from Norwich players like Todd Cantwell, who stayed sitting on the pitch for a good 10-15 minutes after the full-time whistle. Half-time in our 2 commentary games, Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 1. We'll be back there here on 5 Live Sport for second half commentary. Leicester 0, Crystal Palace 0. That one's on 5 Live Sports Extra. Second half there, starting shortly too. We'll be back with our commentary games after the news on 5 Live with Nick Hatfield.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon. Long queues have been reported at hairdressers in England after they opened again for the first time in nearly 4 months. Pubs, restaurants, cinemas and theme parks have also been allowed to reopen in the latest relaxation of coronavirus lockdown measures. Ministers have urged people to be sensible to avoid COVID-19 infections spreading, with some police forces increasing patrols. The Spanish region of Catalonia has reintroduced some local lockdown restrictions after a spike in infections. Checkpoints have also been set up. Police say they expect to make arrests following trouble last night when they tried to break up an illegal party in West London. Officers had bottles and other missiles thrown at them in White City. A friend of Ghislaine Maxwell says she believes the British socialite was a victim of Jeffrey Epstein and was always a little afraid of him. Ms. Maxwell has been charged in the US of allegations she helped the billionaire groom and recruit underage girls for sex. And reports from Hong Kong say books written by democracy activists have been removed from libraries. It comes just days after a strict security law was imposed on the region by China.
Are you ready? Formula One.
His 6th career World Championship title.
Strap yourselves in.
Only Michael Schumacher now has more than the British driver.
Rev up your radios.
After yet another stunning Formula One season.
Sit back.
Lewis Hamilton, world champion.
And relax. F1. The Austrian Grand Prix. This weekend on 5 Live Sports Extra. This is 5 Live Sport.
With Steve Crossman.
And for that Austrian Grand Prix, Valtteri Bottas will be on pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton in second and Max Verstappen, who will start the race third. We've got coverage tomorrow on 5 Live Sport during 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Staying away from the football for a moment, let's take you back to Epsom. We've seen Love win the Oaks already, and we've got under an hour to go until the derby, Gina.
Yeah, and in this most extraordinary of years, we have seen an extraordinary performance in the Oaks by Love, giving Aidan O'Brien, her trainer, an 8th victory in this contest, a 2nd for jockey Ryan Moore and John Hunt, who was calling them home by an incredible 9 lengths, and that was some performance, John.
Yeah, especially when she had looked so good over the mile at Newmarket. I mean, we were all wondering what she would deliver over the further distance today. My word, what an emphatic answer. She looked tremendous, didn't she? What a top-class horse.
She did, and she's a filly by Galileo, who a stallion who sired the 1-2 in this race, in fact, and has 5 contenders in the Derby itself. A stallion we hear a lot about. He is an influence for stamina, and my word, she didn't lack for it today, Andrew.
Oh, tough as take. Ryan just picked it up when he wanted to. She strode away in 9 lengths. It was effortless.
And I guess it begs the question, could they have run a filly like this in the Derby? I think I was just looking it up, there have been 6 winners of the female sex of the Derby, but the last one was back in 1916. And John, wouldn't it have been brilliant to see her take on the boys in the Derby itself? And with that performance, she'd have given them something to think about.
Well, especially in a year where we don't know. I mean, very shortly we're going to see exactly what the likes of English King and Kamiko and Mogul have got, but we don't really know, do we, exactly how good they are. So one thing we do know, Love is top class, so that would have been interesting.
She is. It's going to be exciting to see what she does for the rest of the season. Could Aidan O'Brien do the big double, the big classic double today? He's done it plenty before. He's got 6 contenders in the Derby, Andrew. John mentioned Mogul, the well-fancied Russian Emperor as well, Vatican City. He's got a chance to make history with an unprecedented 8th success in today's race.
He has. I think they'll probably go forward with Serpentine like we saw with Passion in the last race, making sure it's an end-to-end gallop. 6 jockeys in here having their first ride this afternoon, and Oshie Murphy, he'll be very keen, John, for Kamiko to get switched off early on.
I love the way, Gina, that Oshie, when he spoke to you earlier, said that Kamiko, if he's not cruising 500 metres from home, he'll be beaten because he definitely won't stay. So we need him to arrive there, don't we, looking full of running.
He is, isn't it? A horse that can accelerate off a real strong pace, but that is hard to do at a stiff 1.5 mile track like this. Just a smattering of people around the winners' enclosure down below us here as we look down from our vantage point on the 3rd floor, and I just saw Ed Walker, resplendent in his top hat. He's the trainer of English King. It's his first ever runner in the Derby, and he looks to have a real live chance with a horse who'll be ridden by Frankie Dettori. He's certainly not going to be a hindrance on board.
No, Frankie, he'll be up for it. He'll be chomping at the bit, just wanting to have another chance in his 25th ride in the race.
Yeah, looking for a 3rd victory, and it's an interesting story that he ended up replacing the jockey who was partnered with this horse in his previous starts, Tom Marquand.
Yeah, Tom, of course, will ride one of the outsiders here, Khalifa Sat. One of those things, I suppose, when Dettori comes a-calling, everybody listens, and Dettori, a great-looking ride on English King.
So Dettori on English King. We've got the Guineas winner Kamiko and 6 for Aidan O'Brien as we head into the Derby at 4:55. But for now, back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Gina. We'll be back at Old Trafford very shortly. First, let's bring in our F1 commentator, Jack Nichols. Very interesting, Jack. Not only Lewis Hamilton being beaten to pole, but also Ferrari. What's happened there?
Oh, I haven't got time to tell you. Download the Checker Flag podcast later, but you're only giving me 40 seconds. So it was an absolute shocker from Ferrari. They've turned up with a terrible car, a second slower than they were last year. Mercedes' dominance is very impressive. Bottas out-qualifying Hamilton is something we didn't expect. And Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, he's starting 3rd on the grid tomorrow with a different tyre strategy, but I think he's got a shot at taking the win, or at least getting involved in the Mercedes fight. But we'll find out tomorrow. Bottas on pole, Hamilton 2nd. The aforementioned Checker Flag podcast will be available later.
So you can do a lot in 40 seconds. Thank you very much, Jack. On 5 Live Sports Extra right now, second half commentary of Leicester against Crystal Palace here on 5 Live. Back to Old Trafford with Stephen Warnock and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, the Bournemouth players are just coming out, emerging from the tunnel area in the corner of the main stand, the Stretford end. For those of you who have been to Old Trafford, you'll know exactly where they're coming out, as the drizzle has reappeared here in the northwest of England. It's falling incessantly now as Bournemouth are out in their aqua blue, that change strip, and Manchester United following on behind. And there doesn't appear to be any changes from Bournemouth. But from Manchester United, Eric Bailly is there, and you think it's Lindelof. We yet to see Lindelof re-emerge.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Lindelof is the player making way. Eric Bailly was out at half-time with the fitness coach doing a lot of work. So he's the one change for Manchester United. And Lindelof a few times put in 1v1 situations, whether that's something Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fears that he was wary about, or whether this was the plan all along, was to try and give more minutes to Eric Bailly, get him on the pitch, and to try and get him up to speed as quick as he can.
Before the game is back underway, you'll be able to hear that we've got the added effects. If you want it, the clean version without any added effects, then you can listen on the BBC Sport website, or indeed the BBC Sport app. So here is confirmation that Eric Bailly has replaced Victor Lindelof at the heart of that Manchester United defence, and we will go for an early update in the second half. Leicester City, Crystal Palace, Jonathan Overend.
0-0, but a half-time change here as well, Ian. I mentioned Ben Chilwell took a knock on his ankle in the first half, did keep going but has been brought off at the break. Ryan Bennett's come on for him. Soyuncu switches to left back. 0-0.
Thank you, Jonathan. That's on Sports Extra. Bournemouth has actually made a change as well at the start of the second half. Brooks has been replaced by Danjuma, the Dutch winger. So he has come on for a Bournemouth side that did take the lead here, but is trailing by 3-1 here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, for a Bournemouth side that remains in trouble. Norwich City, of course, who are bottom of the table, already beaten today by Brighton and Hove Albion, but Bournemouth are coming forward now. It's a strong run by Solanke, couldn't take the ball with him, wrestled back by King with his back to goal, pulls it back, and it's a very good save from De Gea, from Lewis Cook. And then they just hit the post as well on that far side. So what a bright start that was from Bournemouth early on in the second half. Struck it so true, did Lewis Cook. It was a sharp save by De Gea.
Well, the Bournemouth players are furious with Stanislav. He's tried to beat De Gea on his near post again, and it hasn't quite worked for him. But Josh King and Stanislas feel that they've got a simple goal, and it's a penalty. Bournemouth have been given a penalty here. Eric Bailly just controls the ball with the arm as it's played back to him. Mike Dean, I think, has pointed to the spot.
Yes, he's just indicating there it was his hand. Well, it was a very high arm, and Eric Bailly, who's only been on the field for less than 2 minutes, has given a penalty. It will, of course, be checked by VAR, but Mike Dean, not once but twice, has actually lifted his right arm. He's actually saying it hit him here. It was played back to him, I think, by Matic. Or are they going back to an... Yeah, no, it was that effort from handball from Bailly. We're showing me something else on the screen in front of us, but it's for the handball for Eric Bailly.
It's been a terrible start to the second half for Man United. Really poor. They look like they've come out the traps thinking that it's game over. Bournemouth trying to find a way back into this game. First hitting the post, and now we're on the VAR situation of Bailly handling the ball. It was a lazy pass back into him, and it looks as though his body is out, his legs are out of the box, but his arm is in the box. Very difficult to see on the screens that we have, because it's never crystal clear, is it?
Well, that one isn't. Is that? I'd like to see it again without it being paused. I can't see why you pause when you're checking for handball, because if you're pausing it, you're going to give it every time on a pause screen.
Yeah.
You've got to see it in natural play. But I actually think they're checking to see whether he's actually inside the penalty. That's the reason why it's been paused. So they don't think there's any doubt about whether it struck the hand. They're now checking to see whether he was actually inside the penalty area. And VAR checks are continuing. So that's the question now. Was he inside the penalty box? Struck him. Was it on the shoulder? Or is it high on the arm? is bringing his arm away from the ball as it struck him.
So this is the thing, Deno, it's not clear and obvious, is it? But I mean, we've sat here and looked at that 3 or 4 times, but the penalty has been given.
So the penalty has been awarded after the VAR check. Manchester United lead Bournemouth by 3-1. And now Josh King places the ball down. The Norwegian international, who was 4 years here at Old Trafford, only made the 2 appearances. A chance to score against his former club. He scored in the 1-0 win earlier in the season. It's King from the penalty spot, and he does score. And he offers hope for Bournemouth as they reduce the arrears. It's now Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 2.
Well, again, it's a very short run-up, similar to Marcus Rashford. It doesn't arc the run. It just lifts it over the outstretched hand of David De Gea to De Gea's left-hand side, to Josh King's right-hand side. It's a brilliant penalty. And they're back in the game. An opportunity handed to them by Eric Bailly and Manchester United.
They are back in the game, and just the 1 goal between the two as Manchester United lead by 3-2. Goal at Leicester City, Jonathan Overend.
Deadlock broken, and Leicester take the lead 1-0 against Palace. Goal scored by Kelechi Iheanacho from close range. Beautiful ball from the left from Yuri Tielemans, curling away from Guaita, who couldn't get there, and Iheanacho stabbed it home. Leicester 1, Palace 0.
Straight to Ewood Park, goal in the Championship involving the leaders, Leeds United. Deleth Lloyd.
Blackburn have one back. It's Blackburn 1, Leeds United 2. I mentioned Calvin Phillips scored a beauty of a free kick just before the break. Well, Adam Armstrong has scored an equally sublime free kick, a yard or so in front of the D. Picked out his spot, top right-hand corner. Keeper Melier stranded. It's Blackburn 1, Leeds 2.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here will not be happy at all with Eric Bailly, will he?
Well, he's on the screens in front of us now, just a picture of him, and he does not look happy at all, because this is a game that they should be coming out and dominating in the second half. And they're in again.
Fernandez cuts it back. Rashford tries to get there, cleared away by Bournemouth. Lerma then lays it off into the path of Lewis Cook, and it's Solanke making the run, running through the heart of the centre circle, finds King, man over. Is Stanislas offside? He's put the ball away. In fact, it was Danjuma who's put the ball away into the back of the net, but the flag was raised. But this will go to VAR, and he's just gone ahead of Eric Bailly there, Danjuma, who's hit it on the run right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. But the very nature that it's gone to VAR, and Eddie Howe can't believe it. They've made a vibrant, encouraging start to the second half of Bournemouth. There's more goals in this game. Just gone ahead of Eric Bailly.
I think the original pass was for Danjuma, and Stanislas picks it up, and then he hears the shout from outside him, and Danjuma's running at full pace. He can't just quite check his run in time. But great start from Bournemouth in the second half. The way they carried the ball up the pitch, the break that they made was very encouraging, and it shows that there's gaps at the back. It was Pogba who was trying to chase back to help Eric Bailly, and Bournemouth had actually created a 3v2 situation in their favour, and Danjuma had made that run just a fraction too early.
Well, that would have certainly made life very, very interesting, because you think that goal was ruled out after 51 minutes. They got the goal back after 49, and Bournemouth, well, Eddie Howe will be greatly encouraged by the start of this second half. Danjuma coming on, replacing David Brooks. So Danjuma is playing on the left, Stanislas is on the right in this second half. The Bournemouth side is Ramsdale in goal, Adam Smith, Ake, Lloyd Kelly and Diego Rico. Midfield of Stanislas, Lerma, Lewis Cook and Danjuma, and King and Solanke up front. Although sometimes Solanke, it's almost like a 4-4-1-1, isn't it? One of them will just drop off and play behind the other.
Solanke's shown a real maturity in the way that he's played. He's dropped in and he's almost said to Josh King, I'll do the running in behind, I'll make sure that defensively I'll sit in, and when we break, you break, and I'll support you as quick as I can, and I'll get up the pitch as quick as I can. So it's been clever from Solanke.
Matic striding forward, red shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing from right to left in this second half in the damp conditions at Old Trafford. De Gea in goal, a back four of Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Maguire and Shaw, a midfield three of Fernandez, Matic and Pogba, and a front three of Rashford, Martial and Greenwood, and all three of them on the score sheet in that first half. Here is Fernandez. Manchester United lead by 3-2. Leicester City lead Crystal Palace 1-0 at the King Power. Here is Matic. 25 yards out from goal, rolls it back out towards the left touch line. On the overlap is Luke Shaw, time to measure over the cross, takes a deflection, loops up into the air, off the chest from Martial, nice control, links up with Rashford, able to turn, can't find his way through. Lerma will scoop it away, the flick inside by Lewis Cook. Manchester United have it back, Greenwood into the penalty area, Greenwood, oh what another fine goal by Mason Greenwood, right footed and finds the top left hand corner. There's no stopping this kid. Mason Greenwood takes his tally to 15 and Manchester United lead by 4-2.
Well, the reaction of the bench of Manchester United sums it up. The coaching staff, the manager, they shake their heads and they're blowing the cheeks out as if to say, what a finish from this youngster. He just gets the ball on the right-hand side of the box and he feints to shoot first time. And you think he's running it wide to perhaps put a cross in. And he shifts it with his next touch and fires it with his right foot into the top corner. Ramsdale doesn't stand a chance with this one, but it comes from Bournemouth overplaying. Here it is again. We're just seeing it again on our screens in front of us. Quite lethal finish. It's clinical from Greenwood. This boy is exciting, isn't he?
We've been very fortunate in this privileged position to witness this game behind closed doors, to see some very special goals, and that was certainly one from Mason Greenwood as Manchester United lead by 4-2, and a fourth goal of the afternoon has nearly been scored at Ewood Park, but who to? Deleth Lloyd.
Leeds have restored their 2-goal leads. Ian, it's Blackburn 1, Leeds United 3. Some great work by Harrison on the right flank. He cut inside. His initial shot was well saved. Blackburn failed to clear it properly. Out it fell to Matt Click just outside the area, and it took a bounce into the bottom corner, but it's a goal, and they lead Blackburn by 3-1.
So with Leicester City leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 in the Premier League. Earlier Norwich City 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Brighton 7 points out of 12 now since the restart. Haven't they done well under Graham Potter? In the Championship, Derby 1, Nottingham Forest 1 was the result from the earlier game, and latest scores: Blackburn 1, Leeds 3. Brentford still lead Wigan Athletic by 1-0. At Ashton Gate it's goalless between Bristol City and Cardiff City. Fulham and Birmingham City is also 0-0, as is Huddersfield and Preston North End. Luton 0, Reading 3, and Stoke City still lead Barnsley by 3-0. So here in the second half, 10 minutes played, Manchester United leading Bournemouth 4-2. And Eddie Howe will be thinking, just when we had a glimmer of maybe trying to salvage something from this second half, Mason Greenwood pops up at the other end, and with his 8th goal in the Premier League, but his breakthrough season, 15 goals now in 45 appearances. Even with my basic maths, that's 1 in 3. That's not a bad fright ratio for him, is it?
It's superb. I mean, you often wonder how youngsters are going to take the pressure of coming into a club like Manchester United. There's been a lot of talk about him coming through the ranks and big things expected of him. You've got to live up to that expectation, and boy, can he do it. He's very, very impressive. I've seen him a number of times now, but he seems to have a real maturity. Well, he's matured hugely in such a short space of time.
Here is Maguire in the damp conditions to Matic, standing still right at the centre circle. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left, out to Wan-Bissaka, right corner of the area. It's a left-footed cross. It's headed away by Lloyd Kelly. It's picked up by Matic. He controls that bouncing ball. He then will run forward and threads it through into the penalty area, right hand side. Martial with a cutback aimed towards Fernandes. Stepping forward was Kelly. He's given it away straight towards Matic. It's then teed up to Pogba. His shot was charged down and cleared away by Bournemouth, who Manchester United lead by 4-2. Love won the Oaks at the 11-10 favourite. We've got the derby from Epsom coming up on BBC Radio 5 Live at 5-5. There's Pogba. Diagonal ball along the ground. Martial stopped by Kelly, comes to Fernandes, side onto goal, out towards the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka infield, they've worked it to Bruno Fernandes, and a pull back there by Kelly on Martial has given away a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Dangerous position for Bournemouth, this.
Yeah, really dangerous position. Great play from Martial, just pins Kelly, knows what he wants, knows he's got him in a position where if he steps across he can easily go to ground. It's a dangerous position, and you're looking at Fernandes stepping up here. You know what he's capable of. But United again just applying the pressure, coming on strong against Bournemouth. But Bournemouth will get chances on the break. They've showed that in the second half. They're more than capable. They have to keep believing that they can get themselves another goal.
Reading have got a fourth goal at Luton Town. We'll be there at Kenilworth Road, but it's Luton Town 0, Reading 4 after this free kick. But the alarm bells will be ringing here for Bournemouth, that is for sure, because Fernandes and Pogba lurk behind the ball. Fernandes with the shorter of the run-up of the two. He's placed it just inside the D. It's a right-hand side away towards the penalty area, towards our left, as we look from right to left, where United are playing. Fernandes, oh, it's a great free kick. Bruno Fernandes strikes the direct free kick past Ramsdale. Keeper never stood a chance. And Bruno Fernandes, the catalyst for Manchester United's resurgence, has got a fifth goal. And Manchester United continue to push hard for the Champions League. They lead Bournemouth by 5-2.
Well, that's the free kick's taken on the right-hand side of the D of the penalty box. The Bournemouth wall is really tall from the left-hand side, and then it gets shorter to the right-hand side, and the goalkeeper should be on his right-hand side, and he should see that that's the side he wants Fernandes to take the kick on. That's where he stood. Now, with the wall being so tall on the left, you're saying if you can stick it in the top corner, I'll take that. But Ramsdale is in the centre of his goal and almost gives Fernandes the choice of either side, and it's it's sort of mid-height into the far corner. For me, the goalkeeper's made an error. I think it's poor. It's great technique from Fernandes to put it in there, but his wall's wrong or his setup's wrong.
It's been checked by VAR. Whilst it is, we'll go to Luton Town and Mike Williams.
Yeah, another one for Reading here. Luton 0, Reading 4, and it's George Puskas with a deft header from close range. It was flicked on from Morrison after a lovely aerial ball from Blackett, and Georgie Puskas couldn't miss. It's his 12th of the season, and this could be a long afternoon for the Championship's bottom side. It's Luton 0, Reading 4.
There was a slightly longer than normal delay that when you want to check for a goal for a free kick. But Mike Dean now has got the go-ahead from Stockley Park and the VAR official Lee Mason. The goal does stand. Not too sure what they were actually looking for, whether there was an infringement in the wall, but anyway it stands, and Bruno Fernandes has got his 7th for Manchester United. And Manchester United lead by 5-2, and Mike says it could be a long afternoon for Luton Town. They were actually checking for whether Matic was offside. Well, it could be a long afternoon for Bournemouth, because all of a sudden they're trailing by 5-2 here at Old Trafford, as Bournemouth still coming forward with spirit, get a corner kick from Adam Smith. Corner kick to Bournemouth on this near side.
Well, after such a brilliant start to the second half, for Bournemouth, United have just come back to dominate, and they've been so strong. Bournemouth now with a corner, an opportunity to try and pinch a goal back.
Corner kick on this near side, taken by Rico. It's an in-swinger, headed away well by Harry Maguire. He climbed very high there for Manchester United in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks as they play from right to left. Bournemouth in the aqua blue, forward with Ake, cut out though by Bailly. And just to think that they had hope when that penalty was awarded 4 minutes into the second half. We've just gone past the hour mark, and already that hope has been extinguished with the 2 further goals for Manchester United, for Greenwood and that Bruno Fernandes free kick. And I mentioned that in the game in midweek, I think it was something like 28 efforts yet to score from a direct free kick. Well, they've banished that statistic now with Bruno Fernandes lashing that one home for Manchester United.
But they're the moments of brilliance that United haven't had in the last couple of seasons. The moments of genius from Mason Greenwood, from Martial with the goal in the first half, and then the Fernandes free kick. They're goals that change games, and that was United under a little bit of pressure. That pressure's taken off from them moments.
Ball played forward by Lerma, and it's going to just run out of play for a goal kick. No one was latching onto that. So Manchester United are going above Chelsea into the top 4, and they have Leicester City within their sights. However, Leicester City themselves are responding. Jonathan Overend.
They are, and it could be a crucial 3 points for them, couldn't it, after their poor recent run. Leicester leading Crystal Palace 1-0, but terrible defending has almost gifted Palace an equaliser here. The Londoners had a corner, it was half cleared. MacArthur then with a high ball back in and completely unmarked. Gary Cahill got his header in, low save by Schmeichel. Leicester 1, Palace 0.
It's going to be a triple change that is being made here by Eddie Howe for Bournemouth. We've got the tall filler of Phil Billing. We've got Dan Gosling also there as well. I think Harry Wilson is the other one who's going to be coming on whilst this change takes place. In fact, it's not going to take place just yet because a goal kick has been taken. There's been another goal at Kenilworth Road for Mike Williams.
Well, we said it could be a long afternoon for Luton, Ian, and it is proving to be just that. Luton 0, Reading 5. The latest coming from Yaku Mate. He's got his 4th of the afternoon, a hat-trick for him in the first half. He latched onto a loose ball, careering through on the Luton keeper and slotted it home. He couldn't miss, and Reading are in cruise control here. Luton 0, Reading 5.
The leaders, Leeds United, are 3-1 up at Blackburn Rovers. Brentford, who are third, were 1-0 up at home to Wigan. Another goal at Griffin Park, Aaron Paul.
It's 2-0 now, Ian. I'm going to define it by what Peter Gillam said over the PA. Wow. Saeed Benrahma right by the byline, and he's just swung across it. It's beaten everyone and beaten the goalkeeper and fired into the back of the net. You've got to catch this on social media later on. Saeed Benrahma grabs his second. He's grabbed Brentford's second. It's Brentford 2, Wigan 0.
Manchester United are going to be making a change as well. Bournemouth are yet to bring on their 3 players, but Fred is going to be coming on for Manchester United, who lead by 5-2 into the Premier League. Bournemouth on the attack. Solanke, diagonal ball. Danjuma, the substitute, the half-time substitute, collects it on that far side, the left. Bournemouth are playing from left to right. Danjuma tries to come in between 2 United players. He's stopped, and all of a sudden it's Mason Greenwood who'll bring the ball away, and he'll carry the ball over halfway line. Greenwood infield now towards Pogba, forward ball. Martial back towards Pogba, man over is Wan-Bissaka on that right hand side. There's space for him to attack. He plays the ball in, sliding in, and there is another goal, and it's Marcus Rashford, but the flag is up and it will not count, and that goal has been disallowed, and it remains Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2. Tell you what, we've seen some goal action today.
That would have been arguably the goal of the day, and we're talking about some quality goals, but the movement, the one-touch passing to get themselves up the field, the play between Pogba, Greenwood and Martial, and this ball from Wan-Bissaka. Martial, it's so tight, he's literally a fraction offside, makes his run slightly too quick, and it would have been a great goal. But looking along the lines on the VAR, there's possibility that this might count. He's level with Kelly. Is Kelly playing him onside?
VAR has certainly had its work cut out today. There's been a number of checks that have been made, and so it might yet still stand. They are checking this for offside for Marcus Rashford against Kelly. From the frames that we've got, it looks a very, very tight call. The triple change is going to be made meanwhile for Bournemouth, and so we're going to have Harry Wilson coming on, Billing coming on, and also Dan Gosling, and the players who've come off are Stanislas, Lewis Cook and Solanke. So they're the changes. So Wilson for Stanislas, Solanke, who still has only scored 1 goal in 59 games in his Premier League career, and Lewis Cook is the other player to make way for Bournemouth as they make those changes. And that goal was indeed ruled out, and it's Matic who makes way for Fred. So like for like. So Manchester United still lead Bournemouth by 5-2. Here is Shaw, forward ball. They still have that hunger though, they still have that desire, Manchester United.
Well, what they're trying to see teams off now, aren't they? They're going for the kill, and that's what the old Manchester United used to do. There used to be an instinct for it, a smell of it, that they wanted to really put teams out the misery as quick as they could and then suffocate them as much as they can, and this United team are trying to instill that into them. It's what Solskjaer, Carrick and the backroom staff are trying to tell the players, to have that killer instinct.
Ball played forward, Martial is after it. Ramsdale though plucks it out of the air and clutches it close to his chest, all in yellow away towards our left hand side. So for Norwich, they remain bottom. Bournemouth are going to still be 27 points after 33 games, and all of a sudden you're fearing from a Bournemouth point of view that it's going to be very, very, very hard to get out of the position that they're in with the games that they've got left to play. And then Aston Villa and Watford and West Ham, because Brighton took a real step towards Premier League survival. I know they've done well of late since the restart, but to get that 1-0 victory at Carrow Road takes them to 36 points. Almost there, aren't they, Brighton and Hove Albion? As the ball is played forward by Lerma. Bournemouth on that far side, and it's with Danjuma held up by Greenwood. the work ethic as well from Manchester United. You know, they're still working hard. You've got your strikers back there on defensive duties, Greenwood, everybody bar Martial. He's the outlet, but Rashford's back filling in. Greenwood on that far side. Bournemouth seeing the ball. It's with Adam Smith, who's tucked in the right back in a central position. But because of the players ahead of him, the red shirts, they're forced to go all the way back.
Yeah, they're a real unit now. They're working so hard to keep in that shape to cause problems. But Bournemouth, it's just been caught offside. They found a way through. But yeah, the team shape of Manchester United is so much better. But they also know now that with the quality they've got in midfield, of Pogba, of Fernandes, of Fred or Matic, when they're in there, that they can find that forward ball quickly to the runs of Martial, to Rashford, as we go for a water break.
So a drinks break here at Old Trafford, with Manchester United leading Bournemouth by 5-2. And Manchester United, who, well, had the shock of seeing Bournemouth take the lead. You wouldn't believe that was the case since, because they've been, well, they're in total and utter control now. And Manchester United are looking to continue to put pressure on the teams around them for a place in the Champions League for next season. They have the bit between their teeth, Stephen Warnock.
They certainly do. They look a team that is really together at the moment, and you have to give credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he's created in this season. They've had their ups and downs, but the second half of the season they've come really strong, and obviously getting Pogba back into that midfield position alongside Fernandes, alongside Matic, definitely helps. But I still think that the problem is the central position, central defence, that is, with Bailly coming onto the pitch, not looking as strong as Lindelof.
So whilst the drinks break is taking place here at Old Trafford, United lead Bournemouth by 5-2. We will go to Craven Cottage. Katie Shanahan.
It's still 0-0 here between Fulham and Birmingham City. Fulham, though, have come out firing. Anthony Knockaert with 3 decent chances. Birmingham, who haven't won at Craven Cottage in 4 years, have been really impressive in defence. Lee Camp with some crucial saves. Fulham, though, are in full flow now, and you sense a goal is coming. Fulham 0, Birmingham City 0.
Well, they certainly need to find a goal from somewhere, because the hopes of automatic promotion are receding at the moment against a Birmingham City side without a win in 9. And of course Brentford are 2 goals up against Wigan, and Leeds United are leading at Blackburn Rovers by 3-1. We're back underway here at Old Trafford, 20 minutes remaining. Don't forget, the derby is on its way in less than half an hour now on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also on the World Service as Harry Wilson cuts out a ball from De Gea. Harry Wilson with a cross on the right-hand side and stopped by Fred. And Fred will clear the ball out of the penalty area. The return ball by Fernandes. Sliding was Billing. Only succeeds in helping it on its way for Fred. And now Fernandes over the halfway line for Manchester United, who lead 5-2, playing from right to left. Fred switches play out towards the right hand side. We'll be going somewhere else, I'm sure, very, very soon here, as not too sure if there's been another goal to tell you about elsewhere, but here is Bailly. Manchester United in control. Leicester still lead Crystal Palace by 1-0. And they'll get the team news, in fact, from Molineux. Wolves against Arsenal. It's a 5:30 game. Sohail Sahi.
Adama Traore comes in for Diogo Jota in the only change from the Wolves side, who won 1-0 at Aston Villa last Saturday. Mikel Arteta, he brings in Suarez, Saka and Nketiah for Bellerin, Nelson and Lacazette from the 11, who made it 3 wins on the bounce in all competitions in midweek.
Commentaries tomorrow. We've got 4 of them from the Premier League on BBC Radio 5 Live. Burnley, Sheffield United at 12, followed by Newcastle against West Ham United. Liverpool, the champions, against Aston Villa at 4:30. As here is Martial trying to tiptoe his way in towards the penalty area, stopped by Billing, who then gives the ball away, and Manchester United have him possession once more. And then Southampton, Manchester City finishes off that quartet of commentaries from 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Manchester United leading by 5-2. Maguire strides forward, strokes it back towards Fred. Another goal at Brentford. Aaron Paul.
My word, what a player they have here on the hands at Griffin Park. Saïd Benrahma with his hat-trick, a beautiful goal into the area and just crafted it past the goalkeeper. His third, Brentford's third, 3-0 up.
Martial to Rashford, lets it run through to Shaw. Shaw pulls it back to Martial. Shot then takes the deflection off the outstretched leg from Ake, and behind it goes for a corner kick. Latest scores in the Championship. Blackburn 1, Leeds 3, Brentford 3, Wigan 0, as you've just heard. Still no goals at Ashton Gate, Bristol City and Cardiff, or indeed Fulham, Birmingham, and in fact Huddersfield Preston is also 0-0. Luton 0, Reading 4, and Stoke City still lead Barnsley by 3-0. Corner kick to Manchester United, far side the right. We've been playing now for 73 minutes at this contest here at Old Trafford. Manchester United still going for more goals, because goal difference could well be a factor in a place in the top 4. Corner hasn't been missed. It was off an outstretched left leg from King, and it was sliced and picked up by Ramsdale, the goalkeeper for Bournemouth. Stephen Warner.
I'd love to see Luke Shaw's average position in this game. He's just seeing it. He's playing almost like a left winger, playing so high up the pitch, and that again shows you the confidence of Manchester United and how they've approached this game. They forced Bournemouth's 2 wide players back as deep as they can, signal of intent from the fullbacks from Manchester United.
Headed forward by Harry Wilson. Pogba holding off Gosling, plays the ball all the way back to De Gea in his purple goalkeeping outfit, and he just passes a short little ball towards Maguire. Now with Shaw, Harry Wilson will put pressure on him. Shaw back to Maguire, little skip there from the England international. Leicester City still have that slender lead over Crystal Palace by 1-0. That goal from Kelechi Iheanacho 4 minutes into the second half is the difference between the two. Maguire, Greenwood, Dan James is going to be coming on very soon for Manchester United. They've lost the ball. It's with Gosling to Wilson. Man over is Adam Smith, takes it in his stride midway through the Manchester United half, and Smith then is surrounded by Fred and Shaw. United working hard. It'll be a Bournemouth throw on this near side. So Mason Greenwood, who for the second time this season is left with just a brace of goals. He scored a brace against AZ Alkmaar, unable to bag his first hat-trick for Manchester United. He's being withdrawn, but a job very well done with 2 excellent goals as Dan James comes on for the Manchester United youngster.
What an impressive player he is, only going to get better and better. Great attitude to the game, just getting appreciation off his fellow teammates as he leaves the field. But another speedster coming onto the pitch for Manchester United. They've got pace in abundance now, which is what United have been lacking for a number of years, and Dan James hugely impressive for Manchester United.
He certainly is. He's a real speed merchant, but he's done 26 games in the Premier League without scoring since he found the back of the net against Southampton in August as the downward header by Billing, and looking to nip in was Josh King. It's gone behind for a corner kick.
De Gea wasn't sure what to do there. He didn't want to really go at Josh King too fast in case he brought him down, but it ends up being good defending by Eric Bailly. Steps across King and just ushers it out of play for a corner.
Corner taken short. Harry Wilson to Smith. First touch was away from him, the right back. Came under pressure from Martial. Rico works over the cross, flicked on by Billing, and straight through it goes through towards the goalkeeper, David De Gea, who clears long, looking for the early release. Headed back though by Lerma, brought under control by Billing. There's been another goal at Leicester City. Who to? Jonathan Overend.
Significant moment as Leicester move 2-0 up on Crystal Palace, and it's 100 Premier League goals for Jamie Vardy. Mistake at the back. Barnes, who's just come on as a substitute, teed him up. Vardy couldn't miss, and it's Leicester 2, Crystal Palace 0.
You would think the points would be safe. Leicester City will move to 58. Manchester United are going to 55. Chelsea are on 54. Wolves 52. And of course Chelsea and Wolves are in action a little later on today. Bournemouth have just made another change, and it's Smith who's coming off, Adam Smith, to be replaced by Jack Stacey, who will automatically fill in at right back for Bournemouth, who are going to remain in the bottom 3, trailing here by 5-2 as Fernandez volleys the ball away downfield, taken high on the chest by Martial, and runs away from him, and Kelly sees it all the way back towards his goalkeeper. And for Bournemouth, well, it's going to mean an 8th successive defeat away from home since they actually triumphed at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in mid-December. 8 games without a win in the Premier League, 1 point out of a possible 24. It is looking ominous for Bournemouth as Bailly tidies up. No other goals to tell you about in the Championship. We're getting ever closer towards the derby that you'll hear here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The race is due off at Epsom at 5-5, so you'll hear it with John Hunt. Fred. Shaw to Dan James. Must say as well, on Radio 2 tonight at 8 o'clock, as Dan James spins away from Lerma, Fernandez plays it out towards that far side, and a cross then from Rashford that was played in just too far ahead of Martial and James, and it runs out for a goal kick. At Radio 2 tonight at 8 o'clock, and it's repeated if you miss it on 5 Live at 11 o'clock, is Passion, Penalties and Pavarotti, because today is the 30th anniversary of that semi-final, England against West Germany. But Gabby Logan will basically take us all back to Italia 90, New Order, World in Motion, and that's on Radio 2 at 8 o'clock or 11 o'clock tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live if you fancy a little listen. Match of the day, of course, is 20 past 10 on BBC One. United leading by 5-2. Martial into the penalty area. Martial has the shot charged down behind. It goes for a corner kick, and still they go in search of more goals.
Well, it's Pogba now who's pulling the strings in midfield, and it's a great ball to Martial. Well defended from Kelly, who forces him down that right-hand side, gets him on his right foot and pushes it out of play for a corner. But it's relentless pressure from Manchester United. Far too strong for Bournemouth.
Mata and Igalo are going to be coming on. Solskjaer's going to make a couple of more changes with the game safe. Igalo still yet to score in the Premier League, and Juan Mata just taking a little bit of liquid refreshment before he enters the fray for what will be the last 11 minutes of this game. As the cross towards the far post, Rashford tries to get there, can't, and it'll go out of play for a goal kick. But we talk about the derby. Let's get the latest betting from Epsom. John Hunt.
And you were just talking about anniversaries, Ian. 49 years ago, the great Ian Balding won the derby with the magnificent Mill Reef. And here today, Ian's son Andrew on the edge of greatness, perhaps, with Kamiko, who heads the market at 3-1, with English King and Frankie Dettori at 7-2. Aidan O'Brien, of course, looking for an 8th win in the race. Russian Empire, his runner, 6-1 chance, together with his stablemate Mogul at 7-1. They'll be parading shortly in front of the empty stands for this year's derby.
We'll be back with you very, very soon. You won't miss any of the derby here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as that double change being made by Manchester United has seen both Rashford and Martial withdrawn for Igalo and Juan Mata. But the points are safe from a Manchester United perspective, Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, cruise control now for Manchester United. It's about how many they want to score. If they really want to step on the gas, I'm sure Igalo will be desperate to get on the score sheet and show what he's capable of. And Dan James pulls away here.
Oh, and it was a challenge made by Kelly, who just got there on the edge of the penalty area. Martial, by the way, taking his tally to 49 goals now in the Premier League for Manchester United, with his one earlier today. Greenwood with a couple. Rashford and Fernandez also on the score sheet. Manchester United with Fernandez, scoops it into the penalty area. Mata's made the run, picked up by Ramsdale, low down, all in yellow, away towards our left hand side. How long have we got left? We've got 9 minutes remaining of normal time, and it is 5-2 to Manchester United. Leicester City lead Crystal Palace 2-0, with that second goal being added by Jamie Vardy. Still no change in the Championship. Leeds United are going to move to 78 points. Brentford, though, putting pressure on West Bromwich Albion. They lead Wigan Athletic by 3-0. Getting very, very tight. Fulham, though, well, they've not had the best of times since restart. Still being held at home by Birmingham City in the Championship. And how will Wolves at home to Arsenal 5:30, and then Chelsea against Watford at 8 o'clock respond in the race for a Champions League spot for next season? Brentford just 2 points behind West Bromwich Albion now at the top of the Championship. Here is Maguire. Pogba, a little bit flat-footed, still was alert enough to react to that sliding challenge and help keep it in Manchester United's favour. Fred switches play to Wan-Bissaka, the right back 6 yards over the halfway line, gets the return from Fernandez, just outside the centre circle, almost at walking pace now is Pogba. Mata, and keeping the ball ever so well, Manchester United.
And they are, and it's a fantastic ball from Pogba to Shaw. Oh, he's nearly in. Great save from Ramsdale. The pass from Pogba is outrageous. It's almost a 40-50 yard diagonal pass onto the chest of Luke Shaw in the penalty box. Fantastic first touch from Shaw. And only the alertness of Ramsdale coming out to smother it. It's prevented another goal for Manchester United. But I was just about to say, though, about Pogba. There was a pass from Maguire there where he left Pogba a little bit short, and Pogba had to go in for a 50-50 a couple of months ago, and I think we'd have seen a different type of response from Paul Pogba. We'd have seen the arms come up, we'd have seen him flailing about, but there was nothing in that. Shows that he's sort of in a confident mood, and he's trusting his teammates a little bit more and in a happier place.
It was almost Peter Schmeichel-esque, wasn't it, the way that Ramsdale spread himself, made himself big to block that shot by Shaw at his near post. You've talked before about how high Shaw is playing on this left-hand side. Mata's now coming in from the right-hand side. The return ball to Mata. Nice little flick to Fernandes. The return ball to Mata. Mata's forced out wide. The cut back towards Ighalo. That would have been a slick move. Bournemouth under pressure managed to get the ball away up towards Danjuma on that far side. That little interchange, Mata and Fernandes, two excellent technicians.
Brilliant play. Absolutely brilliant. Great to watch as well. You just know that when they're alive up front, their interplay is being superb at times, United. And obviously Mata, we know, such an intelligent player, but he's on the same wavelength as Fernandes as well, and little Cruyff turn back into his path. It's great football from Manchester United.
Ball played through into the penalty area. Ighalo is in there and he's just put it wide. He held off the challenge of the defender. It was a right-footed effort. It went across the face of goal and out for a goal kick. And Odion Ighalo still looking for his first goal in the Premier League for Manchester United, who still lead 5-2.
And again, it's that man Fernandes who finds Ighalo, just pulls onto the shoulder of Kelly. The only thing that's a surprise is that we don't see the net rustle. We expected it to hit the back of the net. It's a great run from Ighalo. Give credit to Ramsdale. He came out and right at the feet of Ighalo, might have put him off just enough.
This will be a 11th defeat out of 12 away from home in the Premier League for Bournemouth. No side has lost more on the travels than Bournemouth this season. A 13th defeat overall. And you think that their next away game is Manchester City, then they've got to go to Goodison on the last day of the season, although by then their fate may well have been sealed. But who will, if it is to be them joining Norwich City, who else will go down with them? Aston Villa, Watford, West Ham are all in the mix. Brighton, though, pulling clear after that 1-0 victory at Norwich earlier today in the first league double over Norwich since 1951-52. As 7 points out of 12 since restart, they have certainly acclimatised well to the resumption of the Premier League. Shaw, central position, feeds it to James, left corner of the penalty area. James with a cross, charged down by Stacey, spins behind and out of play for another corner kick.
Just again, relentless pressure, but it comes again from Fernandes. He just injects pace into the pass into Luke Shaw. Shaw gets it out of his feet and feeds Dan James, but the width that Manchester United have held in this second half has caused Bournemouth problems.
Corner kick then for Manchester United. Still they go search of further goals with 4 minutes remaining of normal time. It's going to be Fernandes to take it into the penalty area. Ake will head it away. It's going to be collected by Shaw. Little touch. The pressure from Harry Wilson is being applied. Wan-Bissaka in a central area of the field plays it out towards that far side. Deadlock broken. First goal of the afternoon at Ashton Gate. Michelle Owen.
It's Bristol City 0, Cardiff City 1, and it's brilliant work by Lee Tomlin, the ex-Bristol City player in midfield, who threads it through to Danny Ward, through on goal. He's still got a lot to do, but he puts a low shot past the outstretching Dan Bentley in the Bristol City goal. Bristol City had just had a brilliant spell, but Cardiff City have hit them with a sucker punch, and they lead in the seven-side derby 1-0 with about 4 minutes of normal time remaining.
Cardiff City, who are in the last playoff position in the Championship. We talk about Brighton acclimatising well. Bristol City certainly haven't. That would be a fourth straight defeat since restart for Bristol City, who are now trailing at home to Cardiff City there at Ashton Gate. Thank you, Michelle. 5 Live in the World Service. The derby is on its way. We're just minutes away from the Classic at Epsom, where earlier in the Oaks Love was the 11-10 favourite. Manchester United now coming forward. Ighalo, Wan-Bissaka on the overlap. First time cross into the penalty area. Cleared away by Ake. Out of play. It goes for a throw. They've not stopped Manchester United. They've just kept going for the jugular.
Magnificent energy all round the team. The changes that Solskjaer's made, every player that's come onto the pitch has made a contribution. They've brought that energy level onto the pitch that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will have desperately wanted to keep high. And the run of Wan-Bissaka there is, again, relentless running from the two fullbacks, but the quality hasn't dropped from United.
Manchester United 16 unbeaten. Only Bayern Munich are on a longer streak without defeat, in an unbeaten streak that is, in Europe's top 5 leagues. Manchester United have really found some form. Cut out by Billing, laid off by King for Bournemouth. Gosling hit early by Lerma to Danjuma on that far side, the left. He's going to have up against Wan-Bissaka, who's back goal side. Manchester United, who are still leading by 5 goals to 2. And Wigan, who are trailing at Brentford 3-0, have just had Joe Garner sent off, so now they're down to 10 men. It's been a bad week for Wigan, falling into administration when you consider on the pitch they'd gone ever so well with winning 6 of their last 7 before today, but not to be. In news of that dismissal, Aaron Paul.
Brentford 3, Wigan 0. Joe Garner sent off for a dangerous challenge on Jan Zamburik. Referee got that one right. Wigan down to 10. Brentford 3, Wigan 0.
Under 2 minutes remain of normal time. Blackburn 1, Leeds 3, Brentford 3, Wigan 0, Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, Fulham 0, Birmingham 0, Huddersfield and Preston is goalless, Luton Town 0, Reading 4, and Stoke City out of the bottom 3 are leading Barnsley by 3 goals to 0. In the Premier League, Leicester City 2-0 up against Crystal Palace. Here Manchester United lead 5-2. Free kick to Bournemouth straight into the arms of David De Gea, and we are about 5 minutes away from the derby at Epsom as De Gea with a overarm bowl out towards Luke Shaw. But Manchester United, the points have been safe for a long time. Had the odd scare along the way, overcoming that first goal that Bournemouth scored. Feels a long time ago now, when Stanislas slotted it in from an acute angle. And then when they gave away a penalty, it was 3-2. It offered a glimmer of hope for Bournemouth as Fernandes with a cut back. Mata can't find his way into the penalty area, stopped by Lerma. Oh, they've given it back towards United. Aguero in the penalty area, just couldn't find his way through, and it will be cleared by Stacey for Bournemouth, and it's a long clearance taken on the thigh by Maguire and seen back towards David De Gea. But Manchester United, you think the games that they've got coming up, Stephen Warnock, Aston Villa away, Southampton at home, Crystal Palace away before they take on Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. They're the type of games where they could add further points as they look for a top 4 finish.
Yeah, you spoke about it before the game, that the points tally against them teams wasn't great earlier on in the season and last season, but they will get better as the games go on. I expect them to pick up points in most of those games, so United are the team to keep your eye on at the moment. The form's been incredible and they haven't looked like stopping today.
5 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here at Old Trafford. So both on 5 Live and World Service, I would imagine at some point, because the derby is coming up at 5 to 5 in 5 minutes time, we might not see out the conclusion of this game because the derby is on the way. There's been a goal at Stoke City. Sarah Mulkerrins.
Yes, it's been a quiet second half, but Stoke now lead Barnsley by 4 goals to 0. Second half substitute Tommins with a wonderful goal, ball into him on the right edge of the area, and he fires it in on the underside of the bar. A good day for Stoke in this relegation battle. They lead Barnsley 4-0.
Don't forget, after the derby, Sports Report on its way as well, and a little later on, 6:06, Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton will be taking your calls. 08085 909 693. Pogba and Fernandes are eyeing up this free kick. It's Pogba this time, right footed, flying save by Ramsdale away to his left. Very good save from Ramsdale from what was a very well executed free kick from Pogba.
Magnificent technique from Pogba, just jumps into the sort of free kick and whips it over the wall into the top right hand corner, and Ramsdale this time is equal to it. It's a magnificent save, he bends it round.
Here is Fernandes. Fernandes is going to go for a curler himself, and Ramsdale again forced into action with a two-handed save. Flags up on that far side, although that was a comfortable height for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was comfortable. I think he's made the most of that, pushing it away to safety. It was a good height for him, wasn't too much pace on it. Almost one for the cameras there from Ramsdale.
So we will be bringing you all the reaction as we can from all of the games that have been played today, not in the just in the Premier League, but also the Championship as well, into Sports Report. But with Leicester City leading Crystal Palace 2-0. Brighton, remember, already beating Norwich City by a goal to 0. The result in the Championship was Derby 1, Nottingham Forest 1. There's still been no further goals to tell you about in the Championship. Blackburn 1, Leeds 3, Brentford 3, Wigan 0, Bristol City 0, Cardiff City 1, Fulham 0, Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 0, Preston 0, Luton Town 0, Reading 4, and Stoke City lead Barnsley by 4 goals to 0. Here at Old Trafford, we're halfway through the 5 minutes of added on time, and Manchester United still lead Bournemouth by 5 goals to 2. extending their unbeaten run to 16, and they'll be unbeaten at home in 6 games in all competitions. They've done well of late, Manchester United. It's going to be their best run of form since January 2017 as they go unbeaten in 16. Really are starting to find some sort of rhythm, closing down the gap on the teams ahead of them in pursuit of Champions League football next season. We're minutes away from the derby at Epsom. Meanwhile, there's been another goal at Leicester City. Jonathan Overend.
Yeah, every goal crucial, as you've been saying there, for United. Here for Leicester 2. They had a third. Leicester 3, Palace 0. Second of the afternoon for Jamie Vardy on the break. All over for Shaw, deep into stoppage time. 3-0 Leicester.
Well, that will be Leicester City's goal advantage to plus 32. Manchester United is plus 23. Chelsea is plus 13 ahead of their game against Watford. And Wolves also a goal difference of plus 11. They're at home to Arsenal, 5:30. There'll be regular updates into Sports Report and 6:06 on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got 90 seconds remaining of this game here at Old Trafford, where Manchester United lead Bournemouth by 5-2. Cleared away by Rico, the left back for United. It goes only as far as Fred, who comes onto that ball. He's midway through the Bournemouth half. He cuts it out towards Fernandes, right corner of the area, cuts inside, edge of the area. He's going to tee up Fred. Fred slips just inside the D, back to his feet he goes, and still manages to get the shot away. And again Ramsdale makes a save, and this time it's a one-handed save. Strong wrist to turn it behind for a corner kick.
Well, he does brilliant, Fred, because he initially slips into the tackle, readjusts his feet, tries to whip it into the far right-hand corner, and Ramsdale spots it. Great save from Ramsdale. Again, relentless pressure from United. They've been so impressive in this second half.
They certainly have. They got a corner kick, mattered to take it, didn't beat the first man, headed away by Billing. I mean, you think of the saves that Ramsdale has been made. He's been overworked in the second half. In comes another cross, and this time the header. Was there a push there? The flag's up on the far side. Full time at Blackburn. Leeds United still at the top of the table. Deleth Lloyd.
They are. They've stretched their lead to 4 points, Ian. 3 points closer to the promised land. They've beaten Blackburn by 3-1. Goals from Bamford, Phillips and Cleek with the icing on the cake. And Adam Armstrong free kick pulled it back to 2-1 after the break. But Leeds just had far too much. They've beaten Blackburn by 3-1.
Brentford 3, Wigan 0. Brentford are going to move to within 2 points of West Bromwich Albion. Cardiff City will also stay in the playoff positions. But as the full-time whistle is sounded here at Old Trafford, Manchester United have beaten Bournemouth 5-2. Full-time at Kenilworth Road in the Championship. Mike Williams.
And Luton's recent good form comes to a juddering halt here. The bottom side have been humbled 5